This is Christy, and this is Lola in blue, and we're here in Ashton Court, and Christy leads Celebrate Recovery, and he just knows so much and he's lived so much in recovery that we thought it was too good not to share. So we're going to take some walks like this with the dogs, and I'm going to ask Christy to share with us some of the things that he's learned on his journey, because they're really helpful for everyone. And Christy, could we say, we're going to start off on step one?
Yeah, step one, yeah.
So tell us about step one, and I think this is just good news for everyone. Go on, Christy, you start.
Yeah, well, step one is admitting that you're powerless over your obsession or compulsive behaviours, eating disorders, drink disorders, all a range of disorders, you know, hurt, habits and hang-ups. It's not specifically designed for one.
And I think the thing that's good for that, I think, is I don't think it is. Some people don't have something that they'd recognise necessarily as being a massive issue. But I think what's so rich about this is actually everyone, and this is the message of Jesus, isn't it? Is that everyone actually has a brokenness, whether it comes out in an addiction of some sort or not.
Yeah. No, that's right. And every hurt, habit, hang-up I've worked with over the 12 years, or in recovery, there's always an underlying issue. There's always an emotional pain going on, and nobody wants to feel that pain, so they go on to other things like eating, drinking, taking drugs or alcohol or whatever, anything to avoid emotional pain. And then you'd have two problems then. You got the problem of the problem, and then you got an addiction, so you've got two problems. And that's why, Celebrate Recovery deals with them things,
A little dog incident there. I think Blue was chasing their dog a bit. She was being a bit too feisty.
Yeah, we were wrapped up. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No worries. So, we were talking about powerlessness.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, should we keep on walking?
Yes, of course, yes.
I wanted to ask you how you in your experience or with other people, making that first step of powerless, of admitting that you're powerless. What does that look like? How do you do that?
Well, I think when the pain grows greater than your denial, you come to a conclusion that you do really need help. And as I said, there's an old cliche in recovery: you surrender to win. A lot of people don't like to admit the powerlessness. They think it's a weakness, and in fact it's a strength. And the Lord will walk with you on that. He won't abandon you. It says it in the Bible. I didn't say it, he says it. So, and to admit that, then you're on your road to recovery. That's step one. But if you're still in denial, you're still, saying, oh, it ain't me, the ego, the pride getting in the way, blah, 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 blah. It's like the Lord in the villages. Jesus, he walked out of villages and went to the next village. He said, these people don't need my help. They know everything. I'm going to look for the broken and the lost, the people that are, so he says, come like a child to him. He doesn't want me coming to him with all my ideas. He's got his own ideas for me, so my best ideas nearly killed me. Yeah. So I need his ideas now, if that makes sense. So I'm glad I admitted I was powerless.
Yeah.
It's not a problem to me, that.
I think the same thing too. I recognise that it feels like weakness to say that you need help, and that's kind of a lie, isn't it, that kind of keeps you from experiencing the good life.
Yeah.
And I totally agree that, and I think that's something that we can all learn from the 12 steps and the Celebrate Recovery and the recovery world, is that actually that's that kind of paradox of we say we can't do it, and then the kind of fruit of that is that actually we can, and we're inviting our creator, the God that made us, in to actually help us do life.
Yeah.
And as a result, we live much better. You know? What is it you say? You surrender to win or something?
Yeah, surrender to win. And the good thing about the surrendering to the power greater than you, Jesus Christ, is that you start getting in alignment with the Lord. Then he can work with you then. He's got someone to work with. He can't work with people that are in denial. It's hard for anybody to, let alone the Lord, because his plans are different from your plans. And also, he has a plan for you. And if you keep getting in the way by going, oh, you know everything. It's just like me. I had to come as a child and surrender.
That's something that you do once, right? But then you have to keep on doing it as well. So it's like a first time, would you say? And then there's kind of a regular surrender. Or is step one really about the kind of first time you do it?
Well, yes, but that's your foundation of your recovery.
Yep.
You have to have, Jesus said to Peter, go up there and build my house on a rock as church.
Yep.
He didn't say go and build it on a load of sand.
Yeah.
So that's your step one. That's your concrete base for your recovery.
Yeah.
And everyone, and millions of people around the world recover on that 12th step and celebrate recovery. So if it can work for all them, it can work for you. Nobody's any different from anybody in Christ's eyes. We're all God's children, and that's just the way it is. You know, it's in the Bible. I didn't write it. I just facilitate the meeting, and I've seen a lot of change in people's lives. You know, even Monday just gone.
That's really great,
Yeah.
Christy. Thanks. So I think that's a little intro into step one.
Yeah.
And our powerlessness, and it's a kind of Celebrate Recovery is a great community to connect with.
Yeah.
And that is also a truth. This
Yeah.
powerlessness thing for everyone. You know, whether you're part of Celebrate Recovery or not, whether you've got a big overt addiction which is really destructive to life, or actually life looks, you know, quite calm and looks like it's working quite well. The message of Jesus is that we actually we all need to admit that we're powerless, and we need his life and his strength. Hey?
Yeah. Yes.
Good stuff. Thanks, Christy.
Lola.
Happy looking Lola in the
Lola.
flesh.
Lola.